Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Welcome to the Coming Apocalypse. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. Obviously, we're on the road. It's great to see you here. It is Heidi and I's 43rd wedding anniversary today. 43 years today. And we've had a great day together, haven't we, Heidi?
Yes, indeed.
We have had a beautiful day. We've had a beautiful week, really. It's been a lot of quality time together, and it's been really amazing. It's so good to see all of you gathering in tonight. So thank you so much, BP Earthwatch, for the congrats on the 43. It truly is amazing when you think about time, how fast it goes by. We were reminiscing about our wedding day. We were looking at the pictures earlier this morning of our wedding day picture and how young and beautiful Heidi looked and how young and beautiful she still is and how old I have gotten. Are you serious? Are you serious? Yes, it's true. But anyway, 43 years is a miraculous miracle because really not a lot of folks live long enough to see 43 years, or not a lot of people stay together 43 years. So we've been extremely blessed. 3 children, 3 boys and 7 grandchildren. And my parents are still alive. And there's just a lot of things to be thankful for. And certainly this amazing online church. We've been in ministry now for 41 years of the 43 years of marriage. And we just thank God for every moment and every day and every situation. God's brought us through car accidents, surgeries, heart attacks, strokes. That's all me, Heidi. Thank God, right? I've had the heart attacks, the car accidents, several, and the stroke. And Heidi says, thank goodness for that. But we've been through the ups and the downs like everybody else in life. But at the end of the day, we're so blessed and highly favored. We really, truly are. I want to say thank you for all being here tonight. Welcome to tonight. Tonight's going to be a powerful broadcast because humans are in distress. And we're going to have Mike from around the world tonight. We're going to have Loeb tonight. Some powerful information that he is sharing with us. And there is a ton of stuff going on around the world. And it's hard to even determine what it is you want, which one should you talk about. But there is key elements that are happening. For instance, in Japan, you guys may have saw the video I did earlier today, but that fireball in Japan was insane. It lit up the entire country for hundreds and hundreds of miles. It lit up the sky, a fireball that fell from heaven, and it looked like. First, I thought, what was that? Was that a asteroid? Was that even some of the mainstream fake news media? They thought maybe it was E.T. Certainly, we've all been watching the comet, or is it a comet? BP sent me some pictures of it earlier this week. Is it a comet? Still doesn't have a tail. We don't know what it is. We don't even know what it is. It's 3I Atlas. 3 times we've had an interstellar object. Atlas, because that's the telescope that found it. It's the 3rd interstellar object to come through our solar system since 2014. We don't know what we're dealing with. And then we have the fireball today, which they believe was 3 feet in size. It lit up the world in Japan. The Japanese people thought maybe it was a North Korea firing a nuclear bomb at them or some type of missile at them, but it wasn't. It was an incredible fireball from the heavens. So there's so much going on right now. There's so much going on. But tonight we're going to talk about what's happening in Japan. We're going to be talking about Pakistan, this incredible floods that have hit Pakistan. 739 people are dead. Still thousands are missing, so we don't know what that death toll is going to be. Plus, NASA has launched a spacecraft called Osiris Apex, and they sent it toward Apophis. Why? I thought Apophis was no danger. I thought Apophis was no problem. Why now do we want to send a spacecraft headed in that direction? It's NASA's spacecraft called Osiris Apex. It's headed toward Apophis, which is, of course, headed toward Earth. That's going to 1,200 feet wide. That's going to scrape past the planet on Friday the 13th, April 13th, 2029. And we've got Putin bombing U.S. factories in Ukraine. You think that we're going to... There's not no peace deal going to happen, guys. Nobody's ready for peace between Russia and Ukraine. Really, to be honest with you, Putin doesn't even want to have a peace deal. And Ukraine has gathered all of the NATO nations with him to keep fighting. And Trump is trying to end the war, but I'm sorry, but I think he's on his own. I don't think either side wants to end this. I don't think either side wants to end this, and that's a mistake. And when hundreds of thousands of people are dead with a nuclear detonation or some other type of reason, there will be nobody to blame. You can't blame Trump because he's trying everything in his power to end it. I'm telling you guys. And, oh, by the way, the war in Israel, it's not over. It's not even close. It's not close, as Israel has made an offensive into Gaza City. And Hamas has dug in their heels, and they don't care. They'll go down to the last man standing. And they don't care how many people die. They're going to go down with the ship and probably will kill all the hostages in the very end days. This is horrible what's going on. Are you serious? I'll be right back. I'm on the road. I don't have all my equipment that I normally have, so bear with me, okay? Just bear with me tonight.
The earth can shake, the sky come down, the mountains all fall to the ground. But I will fear none of those things. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Dark waters rise, the thunder pounds, the wheels of war are going round. And all the walls are crumbling. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you mine. The wind will blow, the rain can pour, the deluge break, the tempest roars. But in that storm, my spirit sings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. day you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, and I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, well, I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings.
Wow. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Let me put a shout out real fast for www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com. Of course, guys, a lot of people are looking at their 401k wondering what in the world they're going to do about it, right? Well, there is some things you can do about it. Matter of fact, let me just do this. I'll just play this right here and let you.
Growing, that it's enough for your retirement. But what if it's not? Here's the truth. Your 401k has never and was never designed to make you wealthy. Matter of fact, it was created in a corporate boardroom to shift retirement costs and investment risk on you. Designed to keep your money trapped, exposed only to Wall Street inflation and crashes and the uncertainty that's out of your control. Until now, Americans are taking back control by turning to real assets like gold. Gold, a biblical currency. It has stood the test of time. And at Noble Gold Investments, they've helped thousands of people protect their future by converting part of their retirement savings into physical gold. And listen, talk to Noble Gold today. Go to that link below the video. Go to www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com, or call them on the phone, 877-646-5347. Let them help you set up your wealth protection kit. It's free. It's easy to get started step by step. Or if you want them to walk you through it, they can. Or you want them to do it, they will. But here's the key. If you qualify, they'll give you 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins. 2 of them, 2 5 ounces. They'll be yours for free. Guys, get it started right now. Click on that link below. Paul Begley, Prophecy, www.pastorpaulgold.com. All right.
August the 20th.
Okay, so be sure and click on that link below the video and go to pastorpaulgold.com or call them on the phone, like I said, at 877-646-5347. You'll be glad that you did. Guys, the webinar is 8 days away. That's crazy, Heidi. That's crazy. Warning, warning, planet Earth. Well, tonight, let me just say something. I want to say warning, humans are in distress. Tonight, Mike Around the World, Also, Avi Loeb. Also, I'll be talking, of course, to both of them. Matter of fact, there's some incredible information that's starting to develop right now that's got everybody on edge, to be quite honest with you, and it should. We're living in the end times now. We're living in the last days, and I was looking at some of the things that's being talked about out there, and I don't know if you realize this. Avi Loeb is going to be on this webinar. He's on the webinar. He's not the only one, okay? There's incredible information coming from Mike from the World, Avi Loeb, BP Earthwatch, Stan Deo, Heidi, who else is in this thing? Gil Brazard, Agent X. Oh my, Agent X scared me to death, actually. Can I just play a little bit of it? Let's just listen. I got a lot of current events to tell you also, but let's just go right now. Here's a little bit from Avi Loeb that's going to be on the webinar.
Three-Eye Atlas, but I wanted to ask you just a little bit more, just so people can kind of understand where you're coming from. I feel like the line of work that you're in would, promote this idea of being open-minded for exploration. Why would you be looking up and through multi-million, billion-dollar telescopes to see what is out there if you're not actually curious about it? And then the discoveries that you do get, why would you, come up with a different explanation which is already known instead of going further into the research? Yeah. I wanted to ask you, I know there is some resistance among your colleagues and the astrophysicists in the community, because you do take unfortunately, you do take some negative press as well for your work. I wanted to ask you about how do you balance that, this scientific skepticism and then open-minded exploration, such as yourself with your research?
Yeah, I approach it just the way that the basketball coaches approach playing basketball. They say to the team, keep your eyes on the ball, not on the audience. So I don't have any presence on social media. I don't care how many likes I get. I'm trying to do what sounds like common sense. Right. And unfortunately, common sense is not common in academia. One reason I search for higher intelligence in interstellar space is because I don't often find it in academia. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that people are following the wrong principles. They're attached to their ego rather than trying to figure out nature. And what does that mean? That means that they avoid the risks. They don't want to be wrong, and therefore they would always argue that what we see reflects what we already know. Because if you were to say, oh, maybe this anomaly represents new physics, new phenomena that we haven't noticed before, then you might be proven wrong eventually, and they try to avoid that as much as possible. So any object showing in the sky that comes from outside the solar system would immediately get cataloged as a comet, even if it's not a comet. Why? What? Because we've seen a lot of comets, we've seen a lot of rocks within the solar system. So if you argue that, nobody would blame you for speculating, you will not take any risk. And this way, you just shove any anomalies under the carpet of traditional thinking. It's just safer. And then you maintain your status, you maintain your echo chamber of repeating things we know from the past. And that's the best way to get more funding, to get more appreciation among your peers. If you if you think outside the box and you deviate from the beaten path, you are taking a risk because it's not at all clear where this path would lead. And most people try to avoid it. So that's obviously understandable. But I also, I wrote a paper just a few weeks ago about the question of why many experts have this resistance to changing the dogma, changing the paradigm. And there are three components to it. One is cognitive, because experts are used to past knowledge and they base their self-esteem on past knowledge. So when they see something that doesn't quite line up with what they expected, they have what is called a cognitive dissonance, meaning that they get upset and they want to dismiss it and remove it from the table. And one way to do that is remove the messenger, not just the message. And so they want to get rid of it because it says that what we knew in the past is not complete. And they base their own stature on that. So
yeah, Avi Loeb is talking there, and of course he's on this webinar. And my son Paul Jr. was asking him a question: Why do scientists try to dismiss this Atlas 3I? And Avi's telling him it's because they're all into their own. They don't want to get outside their box. They're studying microbes, and they don't want to think that maybe God is limitless. Let me ask a question. It's a great question, and we're going to talk about it in the webinar, Warning Planet Earth. But why in the world would God, who's Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, who created this vast, incredibly vast universes, massive, we don't even know the beginning or the end of it. Why would he create all of these planets, all of these stars, all of these Milky Ways, all of these evolving planets and comets and asteroids and meteorites? Why would he create all of it and only one little small Earth? Are we it? That he would create all this and never plant another Earth? Or 10 Earths? Or maybe 100 other Earths? How about 1,000 other Earths? Can you limit God? I've been thinking about that. And that's what Avi's been thinking about. Avi, who's Jewish, who told me, he said, I still can't figure out how Moses' bush never quit burning, or how the Red Sea really parted, even though it says there was a strong east wind, or how in the world did the water turn blood red in the Nile River, and all the plagues. Was God sending judgments and God sending plagues, and is God still sending plagues and earthquakes, and different types of signs? But why would it say there be great signs and fearful sights in the heaven, and then when we see a great sign or a fearful sight, we don't want to believe it could be God? And let me ask you, are we arrogant enough to think we're the only planet God ever created? Is our God that limited? So I think I do have to look at that. Now we'll talk about that in a minute, because that is kind of what Avi Loeb is asking. He's not asking, is there ETs? He's asking, is God limited? An extraterrestrial, or let's just say another planet, earthlings or humans or some type of creation that God may have decided to make. I mean, if you look at the ocean itself, how vast it is, how huge it is, magnificent it is. Look at all the creatures there. We don't even know what all the creatures are in the earth. We don't even know how many there is. We still don't know. God created all these different creatures and all these different plants and all these different animals and all of us different humans with all these different races of people for his own. It's his creation. What would make us think that this is the only planet God would ever create? There's no way you can say, no, God can't do nothing else. This is it. This is it. We're it. We're totally it. God did not create any more. We don't know. You don't know that. And so that makes me wonder. God's mercy is, you need to stop too for a minute. If we say God's limited to the one planet, then we're saying God's grace is limited. God's mercy could be limited. God's everlasting grace and love could be limited. Or are we saying that God's grace is unconditional? God's grace has no limitations. God's mercy, God's love, God's perfect plan is limitless. And if we're saying that, then God is limitless. This is interesting. It's a great concept. So I'm going to think about it for a while. But I have more to talk about than just that. Mike from the World's going to join us tonight. Guys, there was a fireball. Where'd that come from? A fireball that exploded over Japan. I mean, exploded. Did you guys see it? I did a video on it earlier today. I showed a picture of it. Massive explosion. It lit up for hundreds of miles. It was brighter than the moon. Where did it come from? Nobody knows. Why didn't NASA tell us it was on the way? Nobody saw it. How many more? Thousands, maybe millions of fireballs, asteroids, meteorites, comets that God went flinging through the heavens for such a time as this. The Bible told us we would see these things, and another one happened today. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, horrific things happened. Massive rainstorms. Heidi talked to me about it 3 days ago. I told her, I said, Heidi, I've got it under control. There's 58 people dead. You know, unfortunately, there's like 300 people missing. It's going to be okay. Well, it's not going to be okay. The death toll right now is at 739, and the missing is in the thousands. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the history of the world. And yet your media, the mainstream, lamestream, fake news, legacy media of the United States and the world doesn't even want to even talk about it. This is horrific. We're talking they found 739 dead bodies, but thousands of people are gone. We're in the end days. And oh, by the way, September 7th, we're going to have a blood moon. Did you even know about it? September the 7th, there's going to be a blood moon. It's going to cover 77% of the planet. No, it's not over America, so we probably don't even care about it. Our media don't even want to discuss it. But 77% of this earth will see this blood moon. All of Asia, Australia, and many other places of the planet will see the blood moon of September 7th. It's huge. And it's followed 2 weeks later exactly on September 21st, a partial solar eclipse that will be across the entire Pacific Ocean. And different nations throughout Asia are going to see this tremendous phenomenon. Another sign in the heavens. Still, mankind hasn't even taken the time to recognize that this is coming, especially our media. Speaking about our media, have you heard Apophis, the god of chaos? This huge asteroid that's headed this way that's going to skim past the earth and maybe even hit us. We don't know for sure if it's going to hit us or not. Well, Pastor Paul, don't have to worry about it. NASA says, okay. Then why is NASA launching a space probe called Osiris Apex? They just launched it. It's headed straight for Apophis. It wants to see what Apophis is. They know it's big. They know it's going to come so close to the earth it's going to scare you to death. If this fireball that blew up over Japan that was only 3 foot in size, 36 inches, it lit the world up, folks. It literally lit the world up, brighter than the moon. It turned night into day. You tell me, what could Apophis do at 1,200 feet? Not 3 feet, 1,200 feet. And we've known about this thing since 2004. Are you serious? What is going on here? NASA has decided they better take another look at it. They've launched a spacecraft probe called Osiris Apex to study Apophis. If it's no big deal, then why worry about it? It's because they know, I know, and some of you know that this is another one of the major signs in the heavens of the soon coming of Jesus Christ. Oh, by the way, Vladimir boot scooting, nuke shooting, Putin just bombed in Ukraine the largest United States factory we have in Ukraine. Destroyed it. I saw the fire, I saw the flames of it earlier today. It's magnanimous. Blew this thing apart. There was a lot of people working there. We don't know how many are dead. We know a lot of folks are missing. This thing was gigantic. I thought we were trying to have peace. I thought Putin just met with Trump. I thought Trump was meeting with the European Union leaders and Zelensky at the White House. Why in the world would Putin decide to blow up the largest factory in Ukraine that's owned by the United States? What's going on? What's going on? What's happening here? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? I believe we're living in the end times. I believe that these are signs of the last days that the Bible said would come. And when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Putin is stringing everybody along, stringing Trump along, you heard what President Trump said. Trump's trying to end this war. He said, if I can stop the killing of 7,000 people a week, maybe God will let me into heaven. Do you understand when Trump said that? After that bullet went through his ear, after he began to recalculate his life, his purpose, his calling to be president of the United States, to save America, and to bring peace, as much peace, and stop the killing in the world, he truly believes we have to stop the killing of human beings in the Holy Land and in Ukraine and anywhere else that he's been working. He stopped the war between Rwanda and Congo. He stopped India and Pakistan from going to war. He stopped, Heidi, I'm forgetting. He stopped India and Pakistan from going to nuclear war. He has stopped or put a ceasefire to 6 different conflicts. He doesn't want people to die. And for him to say, maybe God will let me into heaven if I can just stop this war, means he's thinking beyond. It ain't about his legacy or his presidency. He's thinking about eternity. Are you thinking about eternity? Have you stopped and asked yourself the things that you're doing in life, how it may reflect you in eternity? I mean, guys, this is huge. What I'm trying to tell people is we're in the end times, and the president is trying to stop the killing. Unfortunately, I don't think the European leaders are trying to stop the war. I think they're making too much money off the war. I don't think even Zelensky wants to stop the war. Not really. He's making too much money himself. Plus, he's got so much hatred, he doesn't want to. He would rather more people die than to give up that 19% of property. And Putin, he don't want to stop the war. He's lying to everybody. Are you serious? I'll be right back after this with more from Loeb.
Have you looked around? Have you heard the sound of mama's crying? Or do you turn away when you see the face of the innocent dying? In these darkest days, are you not afraid that it's too late? fold your hands and beg and plead and keep on praying. You gotta cry, rain, tears of pain, pound the floor and scream his name, 'cause we're still worth saving. Can't go on like this and live like this. We can't love like this. You can hope the best, make a wish. The only answer is give this world back to God. Oh, give it back.
Yeah, that's a powerful song. You can get that on our album, The Journey, or you can go to our website and also get our album, Harmonize and Prophesy. You know, Avi Loeb is one of our speakers in this webinar, along with Mike from Around the World, BP Earthwatch, Stan Deyo, Agent X, Gil Brazard, Bart Begley doing a powerful documentary, and I'm going to be revealing a map that I've received from Mike from Around the World. This map is so incredible and so important. It's being released. Mike's releasing it to us early, so it's never been seen before. And so on the webinar, we'll be showing you the map and the full explanation of what the map shows. You don't want to miss this. Mike sent this to us about 2 days ago, right, Heidi? About 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. And me and Heidi will be showing you this map on the webinar and helping you understand it, what Mike has sent to us. Mike Around the World is one of our speakers in this webinar. So is, as I said, Stan Deyo, BP Earthwatch, Gil Brazard, Agent X, Avi Loeb, and speaking of Avi Loeb, plus myself explaining to you this incredible information that Mike sent me on this incredible map. Folks, trust me, this map he sent to me is not supposed to be released until November of 2025, but for the Paul Begley Prophecy webinar only, we're going to reveal it for you. But let me first, before we talk about that, let's talk about, Mike's going to join us tonight, but let's talk about Avi Loeb. Matter of fact, let's hear from Avi Loeb a little bit of what he'll be talking about in the webinar, and let's hear from Avi Loeb.
So that's called cognitive dissonance, very common among experts when they see anomalies. And that has to do with the cognition, the way they think about the problem. Then there is a societal effect where they always group into a kind of a herd mentality. A lot of people, they can easily attack and dismiss a single individual that deviates from the groupthink because they are much more powerful. With many of them, they can, for example, block papers from getting published in scientific journal. They can ridicule the person on a personal basis on social media. They can attack the students or postdocs that work with that person. And, I witnessed all of these, and they do it as a collective, as a group. They are much more powerful. They have more people. And in this way, they can easily suppress the voice of any particular person that wants to deviate from, what is already known. And fortunately, I'm not that vulnerable to these people, because I have tenure, and the whole purpose of tenure in academia is to allow job security when you come up with an innovative idea. But I see that as a threat to innovation, because they basically discourage young people from thinking in an original fashion, innovating, and they want everyone to follow the path that they took in the past. And that's unfortunately suppressing innovation in science, which is a very bad thing.
Yeah, what BP's saying, what Avi Loeb is saying there is, he's saying, why is there such a suppression against knowledge? In other words, because he wants to look beyond just normally researching microbes, which he said he finds is boring. He thinks, look, we've got these interstellar objects come in here, like this current one now. We had Uma, we had the other one, Borzov 2I, and now we have Atlas 3I, or the third interstellar object. And he's saying, look, this thing is a 1 in 20,000% chance of an object coming in at this angle to where it's going to come so close to 3 of our planets. And it's traveling faster than any object ever in history. And it's doing anti-gravitational acceleration, which is impossible. So he's saying, shouldn't we send a probe? And guys, we talk about, in this webinar, we talk about the fact that I even asked Avi, I said, hey, he said, look, there's a probe right now that we sent up to Jupiter back in the 70s called Juno. And its job was to, circle Jupiter. It's in the Jupiter orbit. It was to study Jupiter. But at some point, it's going to run out of gas. And that thing's going to crash into Jupiter. Well, guess what? Before it crashes, it's supposed to crash in mid-September. This interstellar object, Atlas 3I, is going to be coming past Jupiter sometime in March of 2026. So Avi's saying, hold it a minute, time out. Can we send this, can we keep this spacecraft that's been orbiting Jupiter, can we keep it up there? Don't let it crash into Jupiter in September of 26. Keep it up there and wait for this interstellar object that's coming by so we can get a better look at it. And, the government says, yeah, we could probably do that. It costs $15 million to do it. Just bump it. Don't let it crash. Bump it. And let the fuel that's in it, what little fuel's left in it, keep it going out again, waiting on this interstellar object so we can intersect it and get a good look at what this thing is. The government hasn't approved this yet. It's going to Congress. Why would you not want to? They spend $15 million in 15 minutes.
Also in academia in general, you want multiple opinions. You want to explore new territories so that maybe you will discover something new. If people are afraid to explore new territories, we will not discover anything. And that may be one reason why progress is very slow in science, because of this groupthink. And you see it in many different ways. We saw it during COVID-19, where the idea that the virus came from a lab was defined as racist, even though it's a completely legitimate scientific question. The virus came from somewhere. We can check the facts and decide whether it came from a lab leak, in Wuhan, a virology lab that was actually working on the SARS viruses and doing gain of function experiments. So it's completely reasonable to check, versus came from the wet market that is a 45-minute drive from there. And
So Avi Loeb is asking the question. The same guy that's saying, what is this thing going through our universe? He's asking, what about this virus, the pandemic we had? Obviously, shouldn't we look into this a little deeper? That it came from the Wuhan lab and then was released into the wet market over in Wuhan, China? Shouldn't we look at this again? Shouldn't we see where it came from? Now, guys, you guys know that Rand Paul had already brought this up how many times to Dr. Fauci. Now, I can't get into this much more, but Avi Loeb does talk about this in this webinar extensively, and I think you definitely want to hear what he has to say. He's one of the speakers. Guys, tonight, it's our 43rd wedding anniversary for Heidi and I. Today, 43 years today, we got married. Heidi, I don't know where the time went. Do you?
I don't know, baby.
It just flew by, baby. It just flew by. But we've spent a few days together reflecting on our amazing journey of 43 years as, first of all, actually, we were high school sweethearts before we got married 43 years ago. 3 sons, 7 grandchildren. It's been an amazing journey, really. 41 years of ministry. Thousands of people have come to Christ. We've seen a lot of wonderful, powerful, amazing things. But it's also been a tough road. We've had a lot of tragedies. Like I said, I've had several car accidents, heart attack that almost killed me, and a stroke. We've come through a lot, but we're still standing. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a part of the last 15 years. For those of you who have been a part of this Paul Begley Prophecy Ministries online, we certainly want to thank you. Your love gifts over the years have made a difference in so many people's lives. We have a young boy right now by the name of Bray. He's extremely ill. He's on a respirator. He's only 4 years old. He got sick 2 days ago, did he? Mm-hmm. Just 2 days ago. This was a young boy who was fine 2 days ago, who all of a sudden was hit with sickness. And they've put him in the hospital, and now he's on a respirator. I looked at the pictures of him that were sent to me this morning. He was so pale. It was pitiful. But a beautiful young child, 4 years old. They think it's leukemia, but they say it's something that's even more rare than that. They don't know. I need your prayers. His name is Bray, B-R-E-Y. Bray. Please pray for him. And also let me thank you all for praying for Josh Peck's son, who at the age of almost 12 does have leukemia, but it's something that's so rare
I think it's a lymphoma.
that it's some kind of rare lymphoma, leukemia. It's so rare that it's a lymphoma, that it's 0.17% chance. 0.17 out of a million kids would get this. 0.17, which is about 1 in 6 million children could get this. But your prayers have been so significant and so important. I want to thank you. These are 2 kids that we're praying for, but we have so many that we pray for, not just children, but men and women, boys and girls. Your love gifts have made a difference. I'm going to ask a favor. This is a favor. You don't have to do it if you don't have the ability to do it. First of all, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and get the ticket for the webinar, because your ticket for the webinar. It helps me be able to put on these webinars, but it also helps me to have funds that I can send out blankets and chemo caps and Bibles and prayer cloths to people that are sick and ill all over the United States and touch people all around the world. I need your help. If you'll do me a favor for our anniversary, for Sister Heidi and I, for our anniversary, if you would like to get your ticket for this webinar, do it please tonight. Please do it tonight. Or if you're saying, Pastor Paul, I'm going to do the ticket, that's not a problem. If you'll give $43 tonight, 43 for our 43 years, our anniversary, I'll be able to use the funds to keep touching lives around the world. I'm going to ask you, if you have the capability to do it, to give $43 tonight. Some people, not everybody can do this, can give $430 tonight. And there might even be a handful of you who could give $4,300 tonight. Collectively, all of the people who can give $43. You might say, Pastor Paul, I think I can do that. Plus, I can still get the ticket for Warning Planet Earth, which, of course, is next Friday, August 29th. But if you can't do both, do one of them. If you can get the ticket, get your ticket tonight. If you can give the $43, please give that tonight, please. And if somebody out there, those of you, I know there's people who can, those of you who can, and God puts it on your heart to give $430 tonight, please do that so that I can keep touching people and touching. When I send a blanket to somebody who's in desperate need, I'm just giving you two examples. But if I can send a blanket to people who are in desperate need of a miracle, it changes their lives and their families. It touches people with love. And if there is a handful of you who can give $4,300 tonight in memory or in honor of Heidi and my 43rd wedding anniversary, if there's just 5 of you that can do that, it will change it will make a major difference. It will change things in our abilities to touch lives. And I want to thank you in advance for being faithful, all of you. Mike from the World's going to join us tonight. Can we listen to a song? And I'll be right back while we give in just a moment.
I saw a black man with a Bible and a sparkler in his hand. He was holding a tent revival and running a fireworks stand. He said the end of the world is coming, so you better get on your knees. Today bottle rockets 2 for 1, but salvation's free. He said I quit my job at a big church where the milk and money flowed to sell cherry bombs for Jesus in a tent beside the road. I ain't in it for the money, no cars ain't pass on by, but I paid the rent on New Year and the 4th of July. Here at the Holy Ghost, Big Bang Theory, Pentecostal, fire brimstone. and smoke. This world is like an atomic bomb, it's ready to explode. When the trumpet sounds and the Lord comes back, I promise you one thing: I'll be a human bottle rocket, and I'll go out with a bang. I'll leave this Holy Ghost, Big Bang Theory, Pentecostal, fire brimstone. It's Mission Temple fireworks stand. I'll leave this Holy Ghost, Big Bang Theory, Pentecostal, fire brimstone. It's Mission Temple fireworks stand. Mission Temple fireworks stand. It's Mission Temple fireworks stand.
Serious. That song is on our album, The Journey. You can get that at our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Mike from Around the World is going to join us tonight. Of course, Avi Loeb is also involved in tonight's broadcast, and it's going to be incredible. It is going to be epic tonight. Oh, by the way, besides the information I've been sharing with you, the fireball that exploded over Japan, the horrible flooding in Pakistan that has killed 739 people and has left thousands of people missing. We don't know how many people are dead, really. It's incredible. The blood moon that's going to be on September 7th, that's going to be seen by 77. So it's on September 7th and will be seen by 77% of the planet, especially Asia and Australia. And by the way, we have people in Australia who watch us. Matter of fact, Heidi was telling me that Australia has become the number 2 country watching us on YouTube. It for years it was the United Kingdom, but now it is the United States number 1, Australia number 2, United Kingdom number 3, Canada number 4, and South Africa is number 5. So it's something to keep it. And I know there's a revival moving on down there right now, that we got folks down there that are holding services that are watching us, and people are getting saved. And I'm going to thank you guys. You guys know who you are. Praise God for you, for the work you're doing down there. Thank you so much, so much. Also, on September 21st, there's going to be a partial eclipse of the sun that's going to happen across all over the Pacific Ocean region. That's something to keep an eye on. Apophis is coming Friday the 13th, 2029, and NASA has launched a space probe called Osiris Apex to study Apophis, because they're nervous, Purvis. They know it's coming. Are you serious? And Putin has just bombed the largest U.S. factory in Ukraine. We don't know how many people are dead. I thought they were trying to have... Trump wanted Putin to meet with Zelensky tomorrow, and Trump was willing to be there with him. Instead, Putin's blowing up the U.S. factories in Ukraine. What is Putin doing? Boot scooting, nuking, shooting, booting. We don't know. We don't know. But in my opinion, this war in Ukraine and Russia is a long ways from being over. I don't think Putin is ready to end this war at all. And Mike from around the world and we're going to ask Mike from around the world about that tonight. Also, they found a new planet. It's called Alpha A. It's only 4 light years away, and they believe there is more planets out there close. They even say that this new planet found called Alpha A, that there may be some other planets close to it that would be compatible with life on Earth. So we're watching this closely. Now, oh, by the way, there's going to be a black moon. When? Saturday night. Saturday night, August 23rd, there's going to be a black moon. You say, well, so what? And that's what they're calling it, a black moon. But there won't be another one till 2044. So this might be the last one. This might be the last black moon before the rapture. It's something I want you to think about. The signs in the heavens that Jesus, actually in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 14, God said that there would be signs in the sun, the moon, that there would be all kinds of signs in the heavens, okay? And you can read about, God said, I created the sun, the moon, the stars for signs and seasons and for days and years. Is this the last black moon, which will be Saturday night, August 23rd? There won't be another one till 2044. I just don't think we're going to be here, okay? I think it'll be during the millennial reign. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that Delta airline flight? It left Orlando to Austin, Texas, and the wing flap fell off. What? I was telling Heidi, we thought about being on a flight from Orlando to Dallas. We wouldn't have been on this plane, thank God. But from Orlando to Austin, a wing flap fell off, and in mid-flight, and people are still freaking out over that. They got the plane down. It was a Delta airline flight, but still, this just keeps happening. It was another Boeing aircraft. Oh, by the way, Hurricane Aaron is tracking. It made the turn, thank God. We've been here celebrating our anniversary here for the last couple of days, and we've been staying here right here on the Atlantic Ocean. We've seen incredible waves coming ashore, but beautiful blue skies, sunshine, blue skies. My nose is even a little bit red. I think maybe I got a little bit too much sun. Please forgive me. But there's two more now. Tropical storms coming in behind Hurricane Aaron. Hurricane Aaron was a Category 5. It is now a Category 3. It's going to miss the United States, thank God, and it's starting to really hook right. But it will head toward Europe, and you guys might want to keep your eyes open in the next week or so as it heads toward the European continent. Oh, by the way, the Washington, D.C. National Guard issue. This is crazy, but it's starting to get nervous over there. I know Trump is trying to bring law and order. He wants to put an end to the chaos, the confusion, the killing, the murdering, the hijacking, the raping, the gun shooting chaos of these drug cartels and gangs. But some folks are worried that we're headed into a police state. We need more information about this. Oh, by the way, the Gulf of America. The United States has launched two aircraft carriers. The USS Cole and the USS Stockdale are now setting in the Gulf of America in preparation, if needed, to go to war against the Mexican drug cartels. Think about that for a minute. That's how serious this situation is getting in Mexico. Oh, and Tulsi Gabbard just fired 50% of the staff that was part of the National Intelligence Agency. 50%. She got rid of half of them because she knew they did not have the United States of America's best interests, that they were potentially, some of them were communist, some of them were terrorist, some of them were anti-Americans. Let's just put it that way. Tulsi got rid of them. She is tough as nails, but they're trying to get... I tell you what, I told Heidi this today. I said, There's no longer Republicans and Democrats. We don't have that no more. It's the Republic against the communist. The Republic against the communist. There's not the United States of America that has two political parties called Republicans and Democrats. No, it's the Republic against the communist. This is huge. This is how dangerous, really, things are getting. Oh, by the way, in Venezuela, the United States has sent the USS Fort Lauderdale and the USS Imajima to the coast of Venezuela, and that includes 4,500 military service personnel, including 2,200 Marines. And the reason we sent these two aircraft carriers to Venezuela's coast is because Venezuela right now has been taken over by a communist regime under Nicolas Maduro. And I don't know, are we about ready to invade Venezuela to rescue the people of Venezuela from this communist regime? I don't know. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but why are they down there? Oh, and by the way, go woke, go broke. Well, we know that we've heard that before, but apparently Target has finally got rid of their CEO after 10 years of trying to push that woke agenda since 2015, pushing that woke agenda upon the American public and upon the customers of Target. It's finally come to an end. He's resigned, and thank God that he has. Wow. Guys, I'm going to be back in just a moment. We got our song. Mike from around the world is going to join us. Thank you for being partners with us. Thank you. You're going to help us make a difference. Get your ticket tonight. We're only 8 days away from warning planet Earth. Are you serious? Are you serious? We really got to pray, because I think we've come to this point of no return. Mike from the world is going to join us any moment, guys. Any moment. Angels among us.
I was walking home from school on a cold and winter day. Took a shortcut through the woods and I lost my way. It was getting late and I was scared and alone. Then a kind old man took me by the hand and he led me home. Mama couldn't see him, but she was standing there. I knew in my heart he was an answer to my prayer. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you in our darkest hour, show us how to live. They teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. When life held troubled times, had me down on my knees, there's always been someone to come and comfort me. A kind word from a stranger to lend a helping hand, a phone call from a friend just to say I understand. Ain't it kind of funny at the dark end of the road,
Yeah, I do believe there's angels among us, and matter of fact, the Bible even tells us that the Lord He sent His angels. Some of you know that when you gave into the Passover offering, that the Lord released a guardian angel over you, and so we praise God for that. Mike from the world is going to join us absolutely any moment. We have a map that Mike around the world has sent Heidi and I to release during the webinar. It will be in the webinar. Heidi and I will help explain for you this map. Mike released it to us. It's not supposed to be released till November of 2025, but exclusively, really, for this webinar, we're going to show it to you. It's going to show you the real hot spots, literally, of the magma that's rising in North America, the exact locations. And it makes me nervous to even share it with you. Joining us from somewhere around the world, it's Mike from around the world.
Pastor Paul, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing tonight?
Good. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Well, can I ask you, has it have anything to do with why in the world was Russia blowing up the largest factory in Ukraine? Does that got anything to do with it, Mike?
Yeah, they're not going to give up.
They're not, are they?
They're not going to give up. No, they're not. Actually, they've become quite aggressive in what they're doing, and the U.S. has no choice but to, defend itself. So we're starting to get to that point.
Okay, when you say the United States has to defend itself, it's because we're not going to have a peace deal, are we, between Russia and Ukraine?
It does not look like it. Not right now, at least. It really doesn't. Putin is not going to give up the idea of, going into that territory and to have it. He's on in that line of thinking. There are conflicting, he says very conflicting things. He had the meeting, yes, and everything, but I believe when he went back home, it was like he used this meeting to get the pulse of the USA, to see how far the USA would go, to see how things would go, what would happen. But, these guys are, he wants his country. He just simply wants his country.
When you say he wants his country, in other words, he wants Ukraine because he wants to go back to the former Soviet Union. No longer,
he's never, he probably will never settle for the idea that the Ukraine belongs to anybody else but Russia, right? And when, that accident happened when that nuclear power plant failed, that was it. Russia split up, and he was upset about that whole incident. So he is somewhat of a loyalist to historical ideals concerning Russia, and he plans to restore it. He wants to restore it. That's in his mind. And keep in mind, this guy, he told the USA before he went into Crimea that he was not going into Crimea, right? He told the USA prior to going into the Ukraine, he was not going into the Ukraine.
I remember that, yep.
So this is a guy who will look you in your face and say one thing and order his troops to do another.
Do you think, at this point, do you think President Trump has figured that out now and understands it? Even though
he already knows.
Yeah. He
already knows he had to try, right?
Right.
Because you never know unless you try. And of course, there's so many voices out there interpreting who people are. He had to know for himself who Putin was. He had to know for himself. And there's no better way than to set up some sort of meeting. Also, it was a gesture of peace in the first place, right? He's now the president of the USA. And as being in that position, he has to make some sort of gesture towards his intention. And he did that. He did that.
He
So-
did his, okay, now let me ask you. Now that President Trump has made the gesture, met with Putin, suggested heavily that Putin and Zelensky should meet tomorrow. That's not going to happen. Trump's not going to like being lied to his face or made a fool to his face. Where do you see this going from here, Mike?
Well, after tomorrow, after the numbers come out, because tomorrow's a big day for America. Right?
What do you mean? What do you mean the numbers? What do you mean?
Financial numbers come out tomorrow.
Okay.
And so, the markets will respond based upon what's said. But after that, he already has some plans in the making for that. Different things are on the table. It can become difficult for Putin, but see, there's almost like a unrecognizable force sustaining Russia right now. The consensus is Russia is broke, correct?
You're right.
That's the
That's what we
consensus.
hear. Right.
They have financial trouble. So why did they just double the manufacturing of their military weapons and military vehicles?
Right.
Why did they recruit? They didn't just grab people off the streets, but they're building up a force that's quite strong, full of mainstream Russian troops. Putin has two armies. One he has recruited from the world, and that's what people have been saying. That's what the Ukraine has been fighting. And then, of course, he has his own troops. There's a lot of propaganda out there. It's very difficult to trust what's on the internet because one side will say the Ukraine is winning and Putin is finished today. And, of course, the other side will say the opposite. So it's very difficult to gauge. But time is telling what the true story is. Ukraine is hurting. Here's a fact about the Ukraine. If the U.S. does not continue to give money to the Ukraine, to give weapons, ammunition, all those things, they're done for. They're going to be done for. The Ukraine is surviving because of NATO and because of the USA. That's why they're surviving. Essentially, it's our war. And Putin is not happy about that. Remember, he said if any U.S. weapons are used in this war, right, that the world would pay for it, big time.
Yeah, he did.
Well, we crossed that red line a long time ago, and he reminds everybody about once every week that we have crossed that line, and he will deal with it. So he has activated all of his just about all of his nuclear forces. He's made some pretty prominent moves in that province of the UK. He's still talking about, but it's not bravado. Putin is quite serious about his nuclear option. In fact, he's so serious that the nuclear procedure has been changed in Russia. It's been altered. So at any moment, he has the authority, right, based upon attacks on his military and any U.S. or NATO movements to utilize nuclear force. Now, when he did that, he just did that about 2 months ago.
How do
The
you
whole
feel?
thing has changed.
How do you feel about it, Mike? I mean, let me ask you a question personally. You've been in the intelligence agencies, intelligence apparatus your whole life. Do you believe that Putin, I know Putin is doing this and he'll up the game and change procedures to keep everybody off balance, thinking he's really willing to pull the trigger. Do you believe that he's willing to pull the trigger? Is he gone that far, or what do you think?
He loves his nation, right?
Yes.
He loves his nation. And you have to think of Putin like similar to President Trump, but in this way. He loves his nation. His nation is a communist nation, yes. They have different ideologies than we have, yes. But he loves his nation, and he loves those people. Now, they are Russians, so they have different procedures. They have different ways of doing things. He will do anything to keep his nation alive. And when you have a person in power who is being pressed on every single side, it makes him very dangerous. Very dangerous. He does not have the luxury of taking a chance. He already took a chance, and it cost him an entire country. That's in his mind. That's in his heart, and he will do anything for his people. So when it comes to nuclear war or something along those lines, weather has to line up perfectly for that. Conditions have to be right, but he'll do it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
That's going to depend on the aggressiveness of NATO, as far as what the U.S. will do in Ukraine, because I can almost guarantee you that if we start building up anything in Ukraine, which is that gives me a moment of pause. If we begin to do that in Ukraine, he will respond with greater and greater force.
So,
and nobody has seen his mainline forces yet. I know a lot of people say they have, but they have not.
So you're saying he's fighting with two different armies. The army that he's recruited from all over the world.
Or conscripted, yes.
Yeah, or bought with his own money with the government. And then the army that he has, his Russian army, that he's using as well. Let me ask you, what does President Trump feel about the situation? Where does Trump go from at this moment from here?
Well, he has a good handle on many prospects of Putin, but again, Trump is going to have he's going to have the people of America. That's going to be his best interest. Now, he is building up defenses of the USA. He prioritized that with the Golden Dome, right? That's part of that defense mechanism, which is being built up. Now, upon completion of some of the intercepts of the Golden Dome, he was going to deploy forces. That's what he's done. We have a war front on all sides. The USA does. The people are just not aware of it yet, but they will be. We have growing tensions beyond belief, and everybody is doing everything to paint a picture of normalcy. We're not normal times. We're in very dangerous times, right?
I agree. I agree, Mike. All right, Mike, while that's going on with Russia and Ukraine, we also see that Benjamin Netanyahu has stepped up the Gaza City offensive. What's your thoughts on where that is now? Because apparently Hamas is not going to surrender. They're not going to give us their hostages. They're not going to surrender and have a free passage to a different country. It doesn't look like Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan are going to take all these refugees of Palestinians. So where do we go from here? What's going to happen next?
Israel, right? Israel is any act of aggression from Israel, like Gaza, even though it seems right based on what they did October 7th. It seems right. The world's not going to see it that way. And they're about to face some pretty heavy pressures from the rest of the world. Israel has power to do things in the Middle East. And believe me, there are going to be propagandists and opposition voices within Israel, right? They're already starting to join hands against Benjamin Netanyahu in his own country.
Right.
And we all know what that means. That is the Middle East. And he's already in danger every single day. That danger is going to increase, and now they're pursuing a legal front to get him out of there quickly. And they're going to do that under the guise of peace. Through peace, much destruction will take place. And because that is the Middle East, Iran, if anybody thinks that Iran has folded up and left the battlefield, they're wrong. Iran is now in every territory in the Middle East. And believe me, they're coordinating. They're coordinating in the Middle East. They're coordinating over here in the USA. Higher security measures must be taken in the USA to prevent what could potentially happen. I don't even think that people are aware of how dangerous the situation is within the USA. There are too many people here from the Middle East who hate the USA and are in fact loyalists in the Middle East. So that's going to be the beginning, just more evidence to disarm Israel by force.
Yeah, I think I know you're right, and there's no looking back. I mean, Israel's not going to stop. They're going to finish off Hamas. They're going to, I don't know if the hostages will be released alive or dead. I have a bad feeling that all of the hostages will end up dead that are left. I hope not. I pray to God not. If that happens, Mike, what will be the response of Israel if the rest of the hostages are dead?
Well, I hate to say this. They may want to do one thing, but they're going to be stopped by the UN from doing what they would like to do. Have you noticed that they could have already put an end to all of this, but the UN would not let them?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It could have been over, but they said no. They every time Israel has the upper hand, right? Then there's some sort of machine that cranks up, tells Israel no, stalls the process of a true victory, and then it just perpetuates these terrorist groups. That's all it does. They have the appearance, right? Hamas had the appearance of coming to the table.
Yes.
But they're not going to make peace. And again, my final anchor on that has to be the book of Daniel.
Okay.
It's fairly consistent, the book of Daniel, that you have these two. One is the prince of the holy covenant. One is not. And the one that is not has indignation against the holy covenant or hatred against the holy covenant. And that person will go out and get all of those in the Middle East who also have hatred against the holy covenant. They'll all come together and take Jerusalem. That's in the book of Daniel for the abomination, to set up the abomination of desolation.
You are
so
correct.
when it comes to like big moves of peace in the Middle East, I do not believe that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It always appears as though it does, and every single time Israel, somehow they end up paying the price every single time. But I believe this time the USA is in danger also. I believe the USA is in danger this time likewise, because biblically, no one can go into Israel and keep it for 3.5 years when the USA is up and standing. So my question again is, what happened to us that we could not intervene into a 3.5-year siege in Israel? That's my question. So something is afoot.
You're always bringing up that 42 months in the Bible that says they're going to be underfoot, and it's significant because it's one scripture says time and half a times. I think it's in Daniel. Another time it says 1,260 days, which on the Hebrew calendar is exactly 3.5 years. 42 months is exactly 3.5 years. So this 3.5-year period, and even the two witnesses that will be preaching for 2.5 years get killed at that point.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do.
So we know that there's going to be this 3.5-year period. Let me ask you, now that you can see what's happening in the Middle East, you can see what's happening in Ukraine, there's other hot spots. We have to look at China and Taiwan. Matter of fact, what do you think about that fireball that exploded over Japan yesterday, or was it this morning, actually? It was huge. I mean, it lit up the sky for hundreds of miles. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
As part of the meteor shower, you remember we're going through a thicker part of these meteor showers. And just to make that story plain, a fact was found out 2023, 24, and that these standard meteor showers that we have,
Mm-hmm.
A while back, we went through a thick part of these meteor showers. So lots of material has been gathered from these meteor showers, right?
Yep.
Well, they found out way back in the past, the entire surface of the Earth was almost set on fire by these same meteor showers. And then it subsided, and then it happened again. So guess what? These meteor showers that we have that have been benign in nature have thick sections to them, and we're coming right into those thicker portions. They will do damage once we get to the portions we've been in before. You know, it's kind of like the 4 seasons. We go through 4 seasons here on Earth. There are longer seasons concerning these rocks and asteroids. We're going through these tails, and it's somewhat of a consistent motion that the Earth goes through these tails. Once we go through these thick parts, all of us will know that that's an issue. They will be publishing some papers on these meteor showers, and people are going to start hearing this statement, that the meteor showers that were responsible for destroying much life on this Earth, we have been going through for some time now, but we're about to go back through the thick parts of these tails. We've been going through them, Pastor Paul. We're about to go through the thick parts of these tails.
You're saying that these meteor showers, we're getting ready to go through the thicker part of the tails,
yes,
which are basically leftover comets that went by a long time ago, and now we're getting ready to go through the heavy rocks. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And they're part of these, the Pulsar meteor shower and all these meteor showers. We already know what they are, right?
Yeah.
Well, what they didn't publicize or they didn't emphasize is there's a different thickness to the parts of these tails. And if we're going back through the thick parts again, is cyclical in nature. It's going to happen for some time. Even after this, it's still going to take place.
So you're saying that basically
that's going to cause damage.
That fireball over Japan was just one of many that we're going to deal with, right?
Yeah, we're going through a much denser area. So when we, we have these named meteor showers all the time. And now we're going through thick parts, a few of them. It kind of startled some of the researchers that they found the materials from these meteor showers, right? Because they know the materials. They know what they have left behind. They know the effects of whatever the composition of those rocks are. They know what they are. And they found that deep in the rock strata, right? So one of them was, they're kind of thinking that they're going to revise some of the destructive narratives that they have right now concerning Earth's history. They think that these meteor showers were involved. They can't explain it any other way. Now, it is based on their findings, but they're going to also prove that by optics, right? They're going to start looking at these things. And once we find out, I think that will cause people's hearts to fail them for fear a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's already destroyed civilizations. And we're coming around again, just like the 4 seasons. We're coming right back into this area of time, a very destructive time. Right?
Okay. Having said that, Mike, NASA has just announced that they've released a space probe called OSIRIS Apex that they're sending straight toward Apophis, which, of course, we know Apophis is coming on Friday the 13th, April the 13th, 2029. I've often wondered, if Apophis was no concern, then why send this probe? What's your thoughts about that?
Well, the chances of Apophis have been changing and altering, and they kind of keep that under wraps.
Wait a minute, Mike.
They let the internet talk.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that we haven't been getting the whole story? I mean, I remember when Apophis was first discovered in 2004.
Right.
I've been tracking it now for 21 years. You're saying that there might be more to the story?
Yeah, the
What do you
facts are a little
mean the
different.
facts are different? Is it closer than we think, or is it going to be closer to the Earth than we think?
It's a possibility. It may come sooner than
What?
people know.
Sooner? Wait a minute. So is it going to
Come
come
sooner.
closer? Is it going to be sooner? Is it going to be both?
Well, that is still one of the wild.
They
cards.
haven't released that information.
No,
Okay,
but
okay.
the timing of it is definitely changed.
That's huge. This is breaking news. Mike, time out. That's breaking news. Nowhere has anyone ever said that Apophis may be coming sooner than April 13th, 2029. So are you breaking news here?
Well, now, I'm sure they don't want to gaslight the situation, right? But the timing is not right.
Okay, let me
It's
ask
not
you this
right.
question. So we'll go with the fact that you're telling us tonight that the timing's not right. What about the closeness of the Earth? Is that right? Or is that
No,
different?
I don't think that's right either.
Oh, my
I don't think that-
Lord.
it has changed the proximity of Apophis to Earth, right? It's all been about the keyhole at first.
Yeah, I remember
So
you
they
talking about that.
calculated the orbit and the keyhole, but that's been revised 6 times. 6 times.
Okay, I
it's been
appreciate you
revised.
being honest with us tonight and telling us that it's been revised 6 times, because I'm going to tell you, Mike,
Yeah.
it's the first time I've heard this. I'm going to be honest with you. And I've been studying this thing for 21 years. Now, I can only go by what media releases to me. I don't
Right,
have
right,
access
right.
to what you have access to. But you're saying is they've been making adjustments to this thing all along, and it's 6 times adjusted. And because I knew when I saw that today that they were releasing, NASA had sent out a new thing called a new probe called Osiris Apex. I said, whoa, there's something up. They would not spend billions, probably $5 billion. And I don't know if that's the right number,
Right.
but would you say it's pretty close?
Yeah, if they're being honest, I doubt that's the right number either.
Okay, I'll guess it. $1 billion. You wouldn't send a $500 million probe to check on an asteroid that you already know is going to miss
That's
us,
right.
unless you're saying.
right.
I'm not saying, Mike, that it's going to miss us, that it's going to hit us, but you're saying they've made 6. So it's not going to be so in other words, is it coming sooner or later than April?
Well, they made some adjustments so that it's going to be a different. Obviously, it's going to be a different time period, not too far off, maybe. But then again, I heard at one point it was 2 years off. At another point, I heard it could come 6 years before. What did they say? Not 6 or 4 years before its projected date.
Whoa, this is 2025.
But-
It's
but-
coming in
but
4
we're also-
years. So you're
We're
saying
also in a very different part of existence, right? Of space, and anything could be out there to
I got you.
cause that object to do some pretty weird things, right? I tell you what, it's amazing to me that
It's
an
coming
object
sooner, ain't
can
it,
go
Mike?
out so far and not hit a thing and come right back.
It's
right?
coming sooner, ain't it, Mike? It's coming sooner than April 13th, 2029.
I think we're going to have, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody's going to be thinking about Apophis.
You keep bringing that up. So in other
I
words,
just
and
don't think
you've
they
been
will.
you've been consistent. You've been absolutely consistent, saying, Paul, don't worry about Apophis. It's what's coming before Apophis. So let's
Yeah, we're
talk.
going to have to deal with some, Earth, the planet Earth is going to be a big major issue for all of us. I mean, Pastor, look at this situation right now. Every single year, we have had consistent rises in the rainfall rates, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're
These
right.
storms are
You're right.
devastating landscapes. We now have, it looks like continental drift. There's obvious plate movement that's taking place. We're going to have some large, this whole month in trying to project or trying to come up with some date projection of both meteorites and earthquakes and volcanoes. I had no other choice but to make a time gap the funny thing is, I had atmospheric penetration for yesterday, and that object, everybody saw the object yesterday. It was from I think it was from the 17th to the 20th.
Well,
but then a large earthquake, we have a time gap for that too.
what object did we see yesterday?
Well, not yesterday, but the object that came through the atmosphere, the bright one in that.
Japan.
Yeah,
Okay.
that big bright one.
Yep.
But there's so many things, there's so many instabilities, and that episode that happened in Russia really changed parts of the earth.
That's true.
In a big way. It's going to really mess some of the timing up for quite a few things. And we know there's continental drift taking place. That means we're going to have more 8.8 earthquakes, right?
Oh my
I think
God.
I issued in August 11th, I issued from August 11th to August 24th a warning of 8 point plus earthquakes.
Yes.
That will be taking place, right?
Yes, you did. Yes,
From the
you did.
11th to the 24th.
Yes.
So, because the plates they're not going to stop. They've begun, in this weird tight motion, and things are happening. But it's almost like it's not emphasized. We're also going to see continents, right, that will change their altitude. In other words, somebody may be above sea level today, but they may not be above sea level 2 months from now, right?
Okay.
For example, there was a time when Antarctica the landmass was totally visible, right?
Yes.
There are maps. They go back a long time ago. Why did they show the landmass as it really looks underneath the ice?
That's true.
LIDAR confirms it and everything else. There's too many things happening right now. And so the geo situation in the earth, that's something that nobody can reckon. It's going to do what it's going to do.
And I know we're going to show this map you sent me and Heidi during the webinar. I don't want to talk about that right now, but I do know that you sent it to us. It's phenomenal. It said November 2025, so I take it, Mike, you're sending us to us. Is it not going to be released till the November 2025? Is that what it is?
Yeah, a little after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are calculated times of some very
so
real impacts.
You're giving us for this webinar a heads up a couple months early. And so, folks, if you guys get your ticket for this webinar, Mike sent me and Heidi a map that is very significant. It's for North America, and it's dated for November of 2025. So Mike's getting it to us a little early. You guys are going to be the first to see it. And it is significant. If you live anywhere in North America, if you live anywhere in Canada or the United States, you want to see the map and the significance of what it means, of course, when it relates to magma. Am I right, Mike?
Yes.
So
also, Passball, also, here's something I don't know if you know or not. You probably do.
Probably not.
But you've heard me talk about the water event, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So now, if all the billionaires began to buy up farmland in the USA.
Yes, they are.
And all of that farmland just so happened to be in the places above a specific elevation. Would you pay attention?
Yes, I would.
The farmland that is purchased, now this is odd, but the farmland that is already purchased, that is above a specific elevation, already belongs to 4 people. All right, Bill Gates. Bezos, the Facebook guy,
Zuckerberg.
and Zuckerberg, and actually there are 2 more after that.
So
the point is, these guys have bought up all the farmland that will survive the water event.
Okay, so Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and 2 other people. Is Elon Musk in that or no?
Well, he has some places in near Texas.
Okay.
Right. as it gets towards
But
the
and
Appalachians.
so
but,
two
but
other guys. I don't know, Warren Buffett.
But-
I don't know who else would.
no, not him.
No,
not him.
no.
He didn't jump on. I guess he got the memo late or something.
Peter Thiel. I don't know. Sam Altman. I mean, there's not that many guys that have that kind of cash.
No, there's
Okay.
not.
But anyway,
Bill Gates has the majority of it.
Bill Gates has the most.
Yes.
Bezos and Zuckerberg. So those three, and then you got about three other guys. And you're saying they bought up a majority of the farmland,
All the farmland.
all of it.
Not that's the problem. Not the majority. All of it. That will be above a certain altitude.
So they've got
In fact,
access to
and
the
it
maps.
lines up.
They've
Yes,
had
they
access.
do.
They've had
Yes, they
access to the data, access to the maps. They've had access, and they know what's coming. When the rest of the public doesn't know, and they're buying this up, they don't care how much they spend for it. They'll give you 2 times the value if you have to get what they got to get. So what is their deal? Is that so they can control the food for the population?
I really do believe if we have a disaster like that, it's coming. We're going to have it. There's not going to be a government with governmental personnel. There's not going to be that. There's not going to be free elections. There's not going to be that. It'll be these corporate heads running their specific land masses. Everything will change at that point. Everything will change.
I'm working on another book right now, so I need to write this down because this is going to go into this book. Because why I'm saying that is because I'm writing a book. I can't tell you the title of it or what the premises of it is yet because I'm not allowed to. But the information you're sharing with me is going to go into the book because that's just too important because it goes along with prophecy, actually, in the book of Revelation. And so what you're saying is, Mike, that what kind of water event are we talking about here, Mike?
Global. That's global.
Global.
We're about to reach a saturation point, right? Water is heavy on the land masses. There's salt water filling up these old salt mines and evacuated wells and everything else. Magma is pressing up from the bottom. We're going to have continental issues. A warning is soon to be issued in the U.S. near South Carolina, all the way up to Jersey. No doubt some sort of warning will be issued due to potential earthquakes in that area. So we're going to deal with continental shifting, and that means certain land masses will fall and others will rise. We're already having a shift as far as the Earth is concerned. The rotation is changing. The speed of the rotation of the Earth is changing. They cannot determine the cause of some of the sporadic shifts in it's almost like a double wobble. I talked about that a long time ago, but never went back to it. It's like a double wobble in the Earth, causing some eerie consequences. For example, the front of cars have been melting due to the heat this year. Cars have been stuck on roads because their tires melted while they stopped at a stoplight. People are being badly burned, getting on their bikes, and it was 82 degrees somewhere, but any type of seats or anything that was exposed to the sun started to get real soft. The sun's light is different. Is very different, right? Very different.
Yeah,
so
I believe that.
The trees were turning early. There were trees that were turning, 2.5 months ago. The sunflowers are pointing away from the sun in a lot of places. Now, adult sunflowers, they don't necessarily point towards the sun, but the other ones do. It's impossible to have a field. Well, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but you shouldn't have an entire farmer's field of sunflowers pointing away from the sun. What is that? It's in the animals also. Animal behavior. When you start pulling stats on some of the scientists who track animal behavior, most of the animals have been avoiding the sun. Most of the animals avoid the sun. And which is, all these things are odd. But then we have, here's how it makes sense. The rainfall that we're having is a consequence of a heated upper atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
With relative humidity, when you have warm air, it can hold a lot more water, right? And when you cool that air off, that water has to be discharged somewhere, right? I use an example of an AC in the sweating pipes. When you have higher temperatures and you have cold air going through those pipes, you're going to have a lot of sweating.
Okay.
The atmosphere has gone up 25% in what it can actually hold. And there were maybe around 19 cases with insurance companies where roofs have been totally obliterated by rainfall. When was the last time you heard that one?
I have never heard that. I've never. What? Is that global?
So, and we're not talking about microbursts. We're not talking about rain spouts. We're talking about normal thunderstorms where water is just that intense. Some of the flood numbers coming back, 5 inches in less than 20 minutes. That's unheard of, right? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
The hail has become a problem, and not hail all over the place in a storm, but the thing about hail in just one neighborhood, that's up to 1.5 feet or something like that.
Well,
next year,
yeah,
if this trend continues, next year, how in the world is a house going to be left standing? How's that going to happen? There are going to be floods everywhere. It's coming.
Well, we just
it's coming everywhere.
We got reports tonight, Mike, that Pakistan, 739 people are dead. Thousands are missing. It was an incredible rainstorm that hit in Pakistan. We're hearing that, Mike, these things are happening. They're not, it's like what you said was going to happen. Massive, rain explosions that just wipe out large segments of the world, different locations around the world. And, of course, the media is not covering this, Mike. The media is not reporting this. I'm telling you, they're not reporting this. You got to dig for it.
Yeah, no, they're not going to, because the average person they have experienced the heavy rains. They're just not putting it together, and it's a global issue. It's a global situation. And next year, here's my biggest issue. Well, not next year, but this winter.
Okay.
The numbers, the heat. The atmosphere is still heating up, so it's going to hold a greater percentage of water than it does right now. So wherever it flooded this year, right, you just double the landmass, and we'll see that flooding next year. And you do it again the year after. Because the year before this, we have flooded twice as much as we did last year. So next year, we're going to flood twice as much as we have this year.
That's crazy.
And it's going to keep going until the earth, in the Bible it says God will not destroy the earth by water again. He's not going to do that. But we're going to have certain places people will not be able to live. Period. They're just not going to be able to live. That shift, the earth is going through a shift. Inertia is going to pull the water up to a certain level all throughout the USA. So they're going to be large parts of the USA nobody can live in, right? It's not going to happen in one day.
No.
But it will happen pretty quick, really fast. And so, but nobody's preparing for this.
No.
Nobody's preparing for it.
So, folks, this webinar we got coming up called Warning Planet Earth. Mike's giving you a little hints right now tonight. I'm telling you, some of the information he shares in this webinar is incredible. It's next Friday. It's August 29th. You don't want to miss this. It's not just the events he's telling you about in weather, whether it be from space or the earth and the atmospheric compression and all the different things that happen. But Mike goes into an incredible information about the AI, about what AI means. And I'm not going to ask him to do that tonight, but I tell you, when you did that webinar, Mike, and you started explaining to me what AI's capabilities were and where it was going, it left. I couldn't sleep for 2 nights. I mean, this is coming fast, isn't it? Is the world? We're not prepared for it. I mean, we don't even know what this means, do we?
Right, exactly. I think a lot of people have, they speculate about things, but they don't quite comprehend the changes that have been taking place already.
Mike, there's been several planes falling out, or not falling completely out of the sky. Small planes are crashing. But there was a Delta flight just recently in Orlando. It was on its way from Orlando to Austin, which part of the wing flap just broke off, I guess. I don't know what happened. We're finding out this is happening more and more. There was a flight that just recently fell 27,000 feet, and they stopped at the last second. I can't remember where that was at. That was earlier this week. So are we going to continue to see this, and what's causing this with their aircraft?
That's happening with a lot of things that go up in the air. For those folks who do missile guidance, the INS and RLG and FOG systems in there, they have been working overtime due to stress faults in some of the missiles. Something is causing a premature decay of these materials, right? So it's I believe it's the sun. I do. I believe it's the sun, the differentials in the heat, sun. The type of light. Yeah, because if you expose metals to certain types of light, the sun can be quite dangerous. You're looking at something that puts off a huge spectrum of light waves, visible and non-visible, that can be quite destructive on metals. And then you mix that with poor maintenance, right? And then you mix that with a lot of retribution from immigrants, and then you have a problem, right? They made a mistake. I think a lot of companies made a mistake. Passpal is no secret that they wanted cheap labor. That's why Americans couldn't find jobs, because they would give it to many of the illegals that would come over. They would hire them instead of other people. And as you know, they're looking for retribution. These people have declared war on America. They actually have.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's one of those things. And you have, I spoke to a group of young kids. These kids are inconsolable. They're inconsolable. That has me deeply concerned, right? Not about the adults, the children. Because the children are going to grow up with a hatred against America so deep that nobody's going to be able to turn it. I mean, it looks exactly like that biblical situation that we often read, how that people on the earth are full of hatred, how they are murdering each other, right? And it's just developing that way. We live on the precipice of some real problems on every side, which is why we have to guard from the southern border to the northern border to the eastern and western borders.
Well, let me ask you.
We have to really. Yes.
Let me ask you, because Tulsi Gabbard fired half of the employees of the United States that work in national intelligence. Half. How in the world? I mean, what in the world did she discover that would cause you to fire half of the national intelligence?
Interviews.
But what? Okay, is it what, because what they believe? What is it? What is it?
Absolutely, you can't have people in intelligence who would. First of all, when you're in a governmental position like that, nobody's in there to practice democracy. They're there to preserve it. And they have certain functions in those jobs. So they can't compromise, or the entire republic starts to suffer because of people like that, doing favors for this person and doing favors for that person. Favors. You can't do that. That compromises national security. And right now we're at high risk. Very, very, very high risk. So she did it. She was bold enough to do it. there's a recourse to that because you can only do that if you have an enclosed system of loyalists.
Right.
That's been a problem for some time. You never knew who would stab you in the back, right? And it gets very tricky in the intelligence community, period. But that's a very bold move.
So, Mike,
Unfortunately,
let me ask you: is there two Americas now? I mean, it used to be that we were the United States of America, a republic, and you have two political systems within that republic: the Democrats and Republicans. Are we down to? Have we passed that now? Are we just down to the Americans and the communists? Is that where we're at now?
well, by appearances, it looks one way, but what it actually is a divide, is a clear divide in ideologies. There are lots of people who they will not follow a republic.
Okay.
They just won't do it. It's because, you know what, education is a problem. It's a big problem. A lot of people are not educated into they don't know what a republic is.
I get it.
They don't know.
They don't even know
what democracy is.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know what democracy is. They don't know. They really don't know.
No, they don't.
They know from YouTube, but that's not real education.
They're not being taught it in school, in civics.
Because their parents don't know. You remember when they said you can't correct your children anymore? That thus began the breakdown, right?
Yeah.
And kids were able to turn their parents in. When that happened, discipline was lost. And now kids demand, and that's a problem. You have a whole generation out there who are raised and they truly believe that they're owed what they've been receiving. So it is a type of entitlement built in due to a lack of education. But I think that's our responsibility, though. We have the ability to educate any and everybody we come in contact with. But a lot of people, they don't talk to their neighbors. And then their neighbors are hostile if you do try and talk to them because you didn't use the proper pronouns or something of that nature. So, I'd say we have 5 Americas is what it looks like. But one interesting thing is this: the governors have finally began their process of division, of a final division.
We're seeing
right
it.
here
We're
in
seeing
this
it right
nation.
now.
It is happening.
We're seeing it in California. We're seeing it with Texas, Illinois, New York, Florida, and I'm sure before it's over, all 50 states, you're going to have to draw a line. Are you blue? Are you red? People are going to move to the states that are more based on how they feel. We're dividing this country. Where do you see us going in the next 10 years, Mike? Do we last 10 more years?
Well, we'll have, let's see, on the conservative side, you'll have 2 camps. On the Democratic side, you'll have 3 camps. It'll be 5 different places in America.
Tell me, that's interesting. So we'll have, tell us what those are. 2 camps among the Republicans, 3 against the Democrats.
You have your traditional Republicans, right?
Okay.
Who still have ideologies based in the middle aisle. You have another base of the Republicans who believe in loyalty and root values. I'm going to call them root values, which means they consider the founding ways, right? But you have new conservatives out there who they have, in a traditional sense, they do things based upon these modern day policies.
Well,
right?
Okay. So who are the first Republicans that you call?
Well, no,
are they MAGA? Is MAGA?
You have MAGA. You have the Mitch McConnells.
Are they the first one, MAGA, or the second one, MAGA?
No. I say no, not the MAGA base that exists right now. Right, is very different from the first MAGA base.
Okay, I got it.
It's very different, but that base is growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
traditional conservatives
is slowly
they're kind of being separated.
They're being separated.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going, but they're smaller. Would you say that's
right?
MAGA's bigger than the Rhino.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Because MAGA is the people, right?
Yeah.
That's what that is. Traditional traditional conservatism. They forgot about the people.
Yeah, that's the ruling class, the Republican
Right.
ruling. Okay, so
Yeah.
now let's go to the Democrats. Who do you got here? You got three groups?
Oh boy, yeah, you got three groups.
Talk to me about
You've
it.
got your main Democratic group, who is, let's call them the biggest group, which is your citizens, lots of citizens, people who have generalistic ideas about democracy, but still inclusive with everything else with
Are they
democratic
Are they
ideologies.
the old school? Are they the old RF?
Yeah,
Are
you
they
call
the-
them that. You could call them I would call them the Clinton Democrats.
Okay, we'll call them the Clinton.
Right.
Okay.
I think anybody before Clinton, they're not just,
They're pretty
just
well
don't
gone,
exist.
aren't they?
Yeah, they don't
okay.
exist.
All right.
But then you have the new Democrats,
Okay, who are they?
right? The ones that they have no idea what Democrat means.
Okay.
Though
I'm
you have
sorry.
that new group, the rebellious group, I'll say. The
Okay,
rebellious
rebellious. Rebellious, good
group.
word.
They're quite rebellious.
Okay.
And then you have somewhat of a reserved group of Democrats that make no noise, right? They still vote Democrat, but they don't make noise.
Well,
Right?
where's the
They
communists?
assess things. They're very quiet and they assess things, right? Well, Democrats, by and large, they may not know it, but they are exercising communistic ideologies mixed in with the Democratic
Well,
Party.
which ones are the Which one would you say is there a socialist group within the Democrat Party?
That is part of the Democratic Party. Because socialism is common when things are commonly owned, right? That's when nobody really makes money themselves, but everything is in a communistic fashion belongs to the state, right?
Well, are they the Democrats who believe that
That's all
everything that we
all I'm
should take
believing
from
that.
the rich to divide among the poor, but they don't really care about the poor for per se. They say they do, but they actually take from the rich to divide among themselves, the ruling class. I mean, isn't that the socialist, communist Democrats, like the Mondami bunch, the AOC?
Yeah, I think I think the people they don't know what a socialist is, right?
Right.
If you look at a socialist and that ideology mixed with a bit of communism, then you would see the modern day democratic machine. And the problem with it, they don't know what taking from the rich and giving to anybody else. They don't know what that is.
You know, it's not even right to say taking from the rich. It's taking from the working man
they don't
and
know.
giving to the non-workers. Am I
know.
right about what I'm saying here? Not
Yeah, they
rich
don't
from
know.
poor, not taking from the rich to give to the poor. It's taking from the workers to give to the illegals and non-workers. Would that be?
Yeah, they don't know. Here's why I say they don't know.
Okay.
I take out a lot of time because I'm concerned about these young kids to teach them things about, say, for example, you have human services. Say somebody who's receiving food stamps, right? But they were raised up in a home that received food stamps.
Okay.
They're going to grow up and food stamps is going to be normal to them. And they're going to say, when I grow up, I'm going to just go ahead and get on food stamps, and that's going to be inclusive in my life plan and go forward.
I got you.
Right?
Yep.
Because they grew up in those communities like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids have to be educated to understand that's not a permanent solution, nor is it a guaranteed income. That's not what that is, because now you have young kids who are 20, 23, and they have a complaint. They're saying, hey, I'm working a job, and I was getting $2,000 in food stamps, and now I don't get any, and they want me to do community service. What am I supposed to do? Work a job and do community service?
Yeah,
See, that statement means they truly believe in their hearts that they're supposed to get the food stamps. That's what it means. That's a lack of education. So when you start talking to these young kids and they begin to get it, then you set them free. The Democrats hurt the Democrats when they don't educate the young children to emphasize the state is helping you out or helping certain demographics out to get you on your feet. But when you get on your feet, sow back into the nation. Right?
Yeah.
That's not being emphasized.
That's not being
to
taught.
sow back into the nation.
That's not being taught, Mike.
That they need to See,
Yeah.
appreciation for the nation would be a good thing, but that takes people who are willing to educate the masses on things like that, right?
So
And-
how do
and-
you feel about this guy who's running for governor? I mean, for
No,
mayor of New York.
That shouldn't be allowed in America.
That's a
You know, in
communist.
America,
He's a communist.
in America, that should not ever be allowed. I mean, not ever.
Ever.
Not ever. Anybody who has
He's gonna get
socialistic
elected,
or
Mike.
communistic tendencies, they should never be allowed
Mike,
to
he's
run
going
in
to win
first
the
place.
election. Mike, I'm
No,
with
well,
you.
that's
He
what
should-
happened before Constantine.
I with
to
you.
Rome.
He should never be allowed. But guess what? He's going to be the mayor of New York City, and I predict the next governor of California will be exactly the same as Mandami is of the New York City mayor. Then the
You see
next
what's happening,
the next
Josh.
mayor of Chicago will be the same as Mandami, if not the governor of Illinois. I don't see this thing slowing down. I mean,
Do you
I
see
a
what's happening?
Yeah, I do. I see a divided country of the haves and have-nots, and I don't know how the workers and the non-workers. I don't see how where this is going to go. It can't
I think
sustain
the,
itself, can it, Mike?
Well, the Bible says it will not.
It won't.
It clearly won't. It will not. And
Won't.
again, something happened to America to stop us from interceding for Israel.
Oh, now
We do
okay,
not.
Okay,
We don't help Israel out.
there you go.
Nobody can occupy Israel for 3.5 years if the USA is standing. So then our whole system changed.
Wow, that
I
was a
believe
great
we're living.
point.
We're
You
living in
just-
that time where it's starting to change.
You
We're
just
starting
pivoted.
to see how it
You
changes.
just pivoted that America's demise is because of its rejection of Israel at some point, which will create our demise, and that must be going to happen, or
Mm-hmm.
Israel doesn't come under 42 months of under where it comes
They're
under
trampling
foot.
underfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we know it's going to take place, and
Yeah.
it's,
Wow, that was a great point. You made a great pivot there, and I think you're onto something because obviously something happens that America rejects Israel. When it rejects Israel, it damns itself, apparently, and it should be shocked by that. I don't know how far out that happens, but you can see it coming, don't you? I mean, you can see it coming.
if we had an 8.8 like Russia had,
Mm-hmm.
that would be enough. That would be enough to send us into enough chaos. We wouldn't have the mind to help out anybody else.
Okay, let's talk
right?
about that for a second. Because an 8.8 could happen at the Cascadia subduction zone.
Yep.
It could happen in San Andrea fault line. It could even happen in the New Madrid fault line. It could even happen up there in the northeast.
New Jersey.
Right. New
Yeah.
Jersey, New York.
Yeah.
So America is on a ticking time bomb. Would you say
We are.
that the next mega earthquake is based on our social demise?
I do believe that our morality in this nation
There you go.
is going to be tied to its doom. It's
There you
know
go.
the thing. It's they go hand in hand.
Yep,
Because
there
you
you
know
go.
we have all the worst weather of the world besides Pakistan.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
And the worse we get, the worse events get in this nation. Now this year, this is somewhat different. This year, the churches have been given a reprieve, and the first hurricane does nothing, and that's something that's
Yeah,
amazing
I'm
to me.
with you because I've sitting
That's
there-
amazing to me.
I'm sitting there. Well, Heidi and I, of course, are celebrating our 43rd wedding anniversary, and we're sitting here out on the ocean actually, and we've been watching the waves for 4 days coming in from the Atlantic. There's been no rain, no storms, no dark clouds, just the waves,
Right.
and the waves have been powerful, Mike. I'm telling you, powerful
Right.
rip currents. As this storm goes away and it heads up north, we've been given a major reprieve. What Hurricane Aaron could have done, massive devastation. Now there's 2 more storms forming out there, and I don't know what the year is going to bring. But you're saying the churches are the reason we're getting a reprieve right now.
I believe that. I believe that.
That's amazing.
Because when, it's they've been empowered. They've been given a moment in time almost to regroup. It was getting quite chaotic in churches. You had people in churches representing the church that were not representing Christ at all. Many people were giving sermons. They didn't even say the name of Jesus in the sermon, right?
You're
and then
right.
when you have,
You're right.
So now it's a bit different, and almost immediately there's a difference in the weather. But we know things are being held back.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that if God were to lift his hand of grace at any moment from any place, it would be utterly destroyed. I mean, in an instant. And so I think because the churches are allowed to function and operate, and they're trying to get it together, regardless if somebody likes Trump or not.
Right.
There was a call of prayer within a lot of churches during this moment. There was a call to prayer.
Yep.
And you know, things started happening. And then that hurricane did absolutely nothing.
I have two more questions for you, Mike, because I know it's
Yes,
getting
sir.
late, but we got to get to it. Number one, the USS Cole and the USS Iwo Jima were sent to the Gulf of America because of, I guess, the Mexican cartels. What do you think about that? Are we about ready to go to war with these cartels?
Well, you remember my conversation at the beginning of the year. These cartels are not playing, and they have access to jets. They have access to things. They have access to F-16s,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So they have access to military equipment and militaries. They have access to militaries.
Other
Specifically,
countries.
China's
Other countries.
military. China's military.
Wow.
See, here's what some of these cartel members, right, have been trained by the Chinese. So that means they have all the intel on the USA. They have special tactical training, evasion training. They have been in this nation. They could have been gathering intel. They had been gathering intel for some time. When the truth came out, it was shocking to everybody. They already knew what the situation was. They knew that from some things that were happening across the border. They just did not know the scale. So, Pastor, essentially to fight the cartel is to fight an army. So, of course, he's going to have to take precautions, great precautions. But the greatest of precautions is going to have to be within this country. So I'll say this. Every time I came on Thursday, I would tell you about what I saw. People crawling underneath our feet in the dirt with bombs strapped to them, right?
Yes.
So don't be surprised if people take a militant approach to not to lock down the cities, no, but to be in place before they strike, because they're going to strike. That's a known fact. They're going to strike, but you can't make it look like they're going to strike, right?
I got you.
You can't put that in the public's psyche. So you have to do it under the guise of something else.
All right, one more question, Mike. I don't want to hold you too long, but there's another major issue, and that is Venezuela. We have launched the USS Fort Lauderdale and the USS, I forgot the name of the second one, two major battleships or warships off the coast of Venezuela. And it's because major concerns of what President Nicolas Maduro is doing to that nation. He is basically taking it. It started with Hugo Chavez, but it's gotten way worse. It's an absolute hostile takeover of a nation. Yeah. Just communism ripping people's homes and businesses and property away from them. Why would we send two major warships off their coast? Are we planning on going in on Maduro?
Well, you don't think it has anything to do with the two proposed Russian submarine bases in that area, do you?
Well, I think that could be part of it, certainly, and maybe that has everything to do with it. You're right.
Maybe that missile defense line that's just recently showed up there, that could have something
That
to do with
could
it.
have something very much.
Could have something to do with it. So
yeah.
it's something to watch.
So it's
We're in a
maybe more
fix.
than just. It's not about necessarily rescuing the Venezuelans from communism, but protecting the United States from the communist invasion of our hemisphere. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot going on.
So now
have a lot
you've made
going on.
Putin way more dangerous to us than just Ukraine and blowing up one of our largest factories in Ukraine. You're talking about Putin saying, you come into my hemisphere, I'm coming to your hemisphere. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Putin plays a very tactical chess game. He's always been a move ahead, but I think
Trump's onto it.
Trump is trying. Yeah, he is. He's not naive. President
No,
Trump
he's
is not
not.
naive. He's a very surprising individual. He's not naive.
And he's got some good people working for him, and I think we're
Yes.
yeah. I appreciate you being a part of our intelligence as well, Mike, to be honest with you.
I hope that people are praying, Pastor Paul, for President Trump, because yes, he has good people around him, but there's still serpents in the grass.
I agree with that. Well, we'll be
There's
praying.
serpents in the grass.
Mike, next week, of course, this webinar is going to launch, Warning Planet Earth. It's going to be a good one. I know your presentation was just incredible. I even had to go back and listen to it a second time. And I know when the people listen to it, they're going to be highly impressed and also hopefully awakened to the reality of the time we're in. So I want to thank you.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for tonight, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on and being with us tonight. It's very important. It really is. I want to thank you.
My honor, Pastor Paul.
The honor's mine. Thank you, Mike. God bless.
All right. God bless.
Yes, honey. Are you okay? Okay. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Heidi's not feeling well, so I'm going to let you go. If you haven't accepted Christ as your Savior, please type, I want to be saved. If you're going to get your tickets for the webinar, please do that now. And I'm going to let you go, okay? Because she is not feeling well. So she's going to be okay, but God bless all of you. I'll see you tomorrow on the coming apocalypse.